Attention, please. Please, those at the back, let's move forward. Let's fill the seat in front, please. Those of us at the back, please, let's fill the. Let's be on our feet, please.
This lovely Ladoke in splendor, as your promise again is kept. Oh, there is sweet rainbow, allure my feelings, make me so timeless. You led me on as we come this far. We feel our shoulders and the timing just to win. You led me on, champions. We are winning.
Why still standing? Can we have the anthems, please?
What
on behalf of the University of Technology, Ogbomoso, the best state university, the best in terms of research, the best when we talk of other academic prowess, and to be delivered by an erudite scholar, Professor Joshua REMI AWOREMI, a professor of transport operation and management. So I'm welcoming everybody, the dignitaries that are here today, and I want to start by introducing to us the Vice Chancellor by the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Management and Operations. Please put your hands together to welcome Professor Tunde Ogunkunle. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. We appreciate you. We also have who is also a member of the management. Please, let's welcome to this occasion the University Librarian, Professor Adefunke Sarah Ebijua. Thank you very much. We also have of the faculty we are celebrating today, Professor Akintola Oyedokun. Thank you very much. So let me now introduce to us sir in our midst. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. I appreciate you. We also have the Dean Faculty of Computing and Informatics here, Professor Tunde Olabisi. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you too for coming. Now, the lecturer is a professor of transport operations and management. Please, let's welcome Professor Joshua REMI AWOREMI. Thank you very much. Twin. So, and I believe you are going to enjoy his lecture today. Now, let me quickly run through the names of heads of departments here present. I have Professor Olushayo Onyelade Akande. Olushola. Thank you very much. Dr. Oluwaseun Joseph Akanji. We appreciate you. And the Chairman Planning Committee, the committee that puts up this beautiful program. We have Professor Tony Olatunji. Thank you very much. And to my own constituency, I should not forget that. So please put your hands together to welcome the faculty officer of this faculty, this program. Now, I may not be able to be mentioning our names, but in unison, I want to appreciate move on with the program because the introduction is going to be in phases. So later I'm going to continue with the introduction. Now I want to invite the Dean, Akintola Oyedokun. You are welcome, sir.
The Vice Chancellor, Professor Rom Kalilu, ably represented by the DVC, Academics Professor Ogunkunle, the Deputy Vice Chancellors here seated, the Registrar, Professor Joshua REMI AWOREMI, Directors of Units, Heads of Departments, Honorables of Faculty of Management Sciences, Gentlemen of the Press, distinguished and profound sense of academic purpose, that I welcome you to another milestone in our intellectual journey. Ladoke University of Technology, Ogbomoso, that has come to stay. First, let us give my deepest appreciation to the Vice Chancellor, the University Management, for their relentless support for our faculty pursuit of academic excellence and history of relevant research in our areas. Today, of global economic turbulence and survival, the topic, transportation and supply chain management, a SIAMESE twin, is not just academically stimulated, it is practically captures the inextricable risk between these two fields of supply chain management and the overarching framework that plans, source, and coordinate the flow of goods and services. Transportation, on the other hand, it serves as the virtual arteries through which goods actually move from one point of origin to their final consumer. We cannot separate one from the other. Without an efficient transportation network is merely an illusion on paper. Conversely, a robust transportation fleet may also be a futile effort. In today's highly competitive post-globalization era, the synchronization of these twins survive, and whether economies can thrive without these two moving together as SIAMESE twin. As a faculty across all our management disciplines, whether in venture creation, global marketing, business operations, negotiable. To our esteemed colleagues, I am confident that today's lecture will spark up existing paradigm in logistics and operations management. To our students, particularly those specializing not only in project management, business, the insights shared today will equip you with practical lenses required to solve real-world bottlenecks in Nigeria and global business ecosystem. Welcome the Vice Chancellor, the management, and our distinguished guests and the entire university community. Let us all open our minds that we go beyond our reach. Thank you for listening. God bless Faculty of Management Sciences. God bless Ladoke Akintola University of Technology.
Please, we can do better than that, please. Thank you very much, Professor Oyedepo. Like I said earlier, the former registrar, Chartered Institute of Transport Administration, Mr. Rashid Ayelabegan. Where are you? Okay. Professor Abiola Idu. Thank you very much, ma. We appreciate you. Also, I can see the former bossa of this great university, Dr. Abiodun Alagbe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you. So we move on. Please, let's welcome to the podium here, sir.
The university librarian, the Dean of the Faculty of Management Sciences, Provost of departments, heads of units, directors, other professors here present, deputy registrars here present, our visitors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am here today to represent our amiable Vice Chancellor, Professor Jones, is performing outside the campus. I bring message of greetings as well as congratulations. I particularly bring message of congratulations to our colleague, the lecturer of today, Professor Joshua REMI, AWOREMI, on this special occasion. I take a lot of interest as a biologist on the issue of transportation. Transportation is in the development of living organisms. When you take a look at a small organism that lives in water, because of the size, whatever the plant or the animal requires from the water is made available to it. In the same way, when human population was very small on earth, because everything they needed was within their vicinity. That is to say that as we crave for development, we should also cater for transportation. No wonder we say that transportation and supply chain are Siamese twins. There's no way you want to transport or you want to move goods and services from one point to. I want to salute the Faculty of Management Sciences for putting together a beautiful Department of Transport Management. And recently, I had the opportunity of interacting with an application that will assist commuters moving from one place to another in Nigeria, with the HOD of the department as well as one of the researchers that developed the app. So when you are moving, you could even predict if there are banditry. Is this not commendable? So that is to say that we in academics, we are not oblivion of what happens in our environment. We should also always tailor our research to be able to bend. Having said that, I want to, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ron Kalilu, declare open this faculty lecture. Thank you.
Please, we can do better than that. Thank you very much, the Vice Chancellor of this great institution. Now to read the citation of the lecturer, please let's welcome Mrs. Adebomi Okewale. Please, a round of applause for her as she comes to the podium.
REMI, AWOREMI to the front, sir. Citation of Professor Dean, Faculty of Management Sciences. Professor Joshua REMI AWOREMI is from Ileosha, Ola, in Ejigbo local government area of Osun State, whereby Providence was born the third child of his family. After which he proceeded to the Federal College of Education, Special Oyo, for his teacher's training. He thereafter obtained a diploma in banking and finance from Ladoke, Akintola University of Technology, Ladoke, and an advanced diploma in law from the university, his scholarly career to pursue and obtain his Bachelor of Technology, Master of Technology, and Professor AWOREMI occupies a distinguished place. He is the first Master of Technology graduate at the faculty. The third PhD graduate and the third scholar to present an inaugural lecture within the faculty, of making him the third born of his family. A professor of transport operations and management, Professor AWOREMI, as one pioneer coordinator of the Department of Economics, as head of the Department of Transport Management, and as Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Management Sciences, before his current appointment as Dean of the Faculty. About 15 PhD candidates to successful completion, alongside numerous master's degree students and over 150 undergraduates. Engagement with the frontiers of his discipline. In furtherance of his academic development, Professor AWOREMI holds an additional Master of Science degree in Transport Studies from Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye. He is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Transport, Purchasing, Procurement Administration of Nigeria, and a member of the Institute of Management Consultants. A widely traveled scholar, he has attended workshops and conferences far and near, including in China, the United States of America, Canada, South Africa, and Ghana, among other destinations. Beyond the walls of the academy, Professor AWOREMI serves as a member of a governing council, UniOsun, and as chairman of the governing board of his institute. A successful entrepreneur and a farmer, embodying a real balance of intellectual enterprise and agrarian pursuits. His disposition towards public affairs and his people has earned him the honorific title Aturaka Oriara Ilu and to community for his pioneering contributions to the Faculty of Management Sciences, his distinguished record of teaching, research, and mentorship, and his continued service to his community. Professor Joshua Remi AWOREMI is a distinguished professor of transport operations and management to present the fourth lecture series of the Faculty of Management Sciences, Ladoke, Akintola University of Technology, Ladoke.
The Vice Chancellor. Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Registrar of the University, Provost of Colleges, Deans of Faculties and Postgraduate Schools, Directors of Institutes and Units, Heads of Departments, distinguished professors and members of both teaching and non-teaching staff of the university, cherished students of this great institution, the Alumni Association of Ladies and Gentlemen, good afternoon. I give all glory, honor, and adoration to the God Almighty for making it possible to stand before this distinguished audience to present the 4th inaugural lecture of Faculty of Management Sciences, Ladoke, Ogbomoso, such a way that neither can thrive without the other. Like a Siamese twins, they shared a common circulatory system of goods, information, and value traced to the other. Arising from this presentation or this lecture explain the conceptual link between transportation, how technology now bans both fields, that is supply chain management and transport, in practice. It relates discussions to the Nigerian transport and supply chain context. It argues for a clear institutional home of supply chain management in the Nigerian university. Mr. Vice Chancellor, on this note titled Transportation and Supply Chain Management, a Siamese twins. In the course of this presentation, the outline of what transportation and Siamese twins, and supply chain means, the conceptual clarification, the issue of transportation and supply chain management, the Nigerian experience of the context, the predicaments that are militating against transportation and supply chain management, the position of supply chain and how it ought to be situated. To start with, transportation is a physical thread that stitches together the geographically dispersed activities of production, storage to be the coordinates, plans, sources, produce, and deliveries of value to final consumer. While supply chain supplies mind. Let us relate this to human body. The human body cannot operate with this type. At the same time, the mind will have to work with the human muscles. So arising from this, a supply chain becomes useful only when goods move effectively. That is, efficient and effective transportation. In the course of moving goods and services from one location to the other, if there is disruption, it means the supply mostly on one of the modes of transportation. Majorly, we have 5 modes of transportation. 1, road. 3, air. 4, pipeline. 5, and railway, on which we are operating. We all agree with me that our attention focus on road. That is, road is the most and highly celebrated modes of transport. Why? Because of proximity, accessibility, and cost effectiveness. Because if you look at the cost of moving via air, cost of moving inland waterway, and host of others, you will discover that the most accessible one is what? Road. On things such as congestion, there could be a lot of problems in the course of moving via roads and others, and arising from this, there are a lot of problems militating against the road. Weak transportation, accidents, insecurity, raise logistic costs. It slows down delivery and weaken market access. Arising from this, the way then what is transportation? Transportation means the movement of people, goods and services from one location to another. Transportation creates place utility and time utility by making markets available where and when they are needed. Finding established that transportation is the bloodstream of economy. No meaningful transformation can occur where transportation system is weak or road, rail, sea, air and pipeline. But the focus of Nigeria as a nation is on 4, while road transportation. The wider roles include market accessibility, labor utility, national cohesion, and regional integration. Area of Nigeria, that is the northern Nigeria, to the industrial southern Nigeria. The connection between the rural producers. Aside from this, what is supply chain? Supply chain management coordinates planning, sourcing, production, warehousing, distribution, information, finance, and risk. It also returns across the value. It has moved from cost minimization logistics will definitely increase the post-harvest losses and consumers' prices. You will recall that in year 2020, COVID-19 has greatly affected effective supply chain management. During Abacha administration, during President Muhammad Buhari administration, foreign exchange rates has tremendous influence. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, especially in year 2025, flood in Mokwa has tremendous influence on supply chain storage and information into organized value delivery. Distinction between the concept, that is the concept of transport, operational activities that answers how do physical goods move, while supply chain management is a strategic strategic framework that answer what should be moved, when it should be moved, and risk. So the distinction is real, but their decisions are inseparable in practice. Why? Because transportation supply chain management on sourcing location, inventory policy, or customer service level as direct and or immediate transport implication and vice versa. Transportation and supply chain management are joint system, while technology is the shared customer services. We should be conscious of the fact that whole joint twins shared vital organs. Even the identical twins, the driver of transport or supply chain management is contingent to survival of other. So it is with transport and supply chain management. If we discover that there is a whole joint relationship between transportation and supply chain management, let me give us to Jamaica for business purpose, maybe to procure some equipment that will enhance the operations of Ladoke without going to Lagos. The airline will work on travel tickets. The Nigerian airport, a clearance will be through technological means. Even mere calling the airline that I'm interested, I want to get to the counter, she will be cleared via technology. By the time she gets to Japan or where she's her point of destination, flight at our point of entry, this is via technology. With this, we can see that there is a clear relationship. She has procured there will be forwarded to Nigeria via technology, either ICT, telematic, telephony, ERP, Internet of a Thing. Blockchain will be cleared by the Nigerian custom here in Nigeria using what? Technology. So you can now see that the binding tissue between transportation and supply chain management is what? Technology. So there's arising from this injury to one organ, let me say port congestion. If in the course of movement there is disruption, it means she will be stuck out. If in the course of movement, Muritala Muhammad Airport to Ladoke, there is a problem on the road and she has to spend extra costs, it means the price of those items will be what? Will be spiked in nature and it got spoiled. What will happen? So you can now see that there is a SIAMESE relationship between transportation and supply chain. Without wasting much of our time, technology coordinates dispatch, delivery updates, and payment in real time. Though there are some areas in areas have still facing digital divides because of a lot of factors. Internet of a Thing, IoT, and telematics track between 30 to 50% of post-harvest loss rates. GPS support fleet control, route feasibility, and last mile matching. As I presented during my, if there is PVRage, if there is GPS attached to the truck, it will reduce the proportion or quantum of privilege and diversity on their wives. Yes, so that you'll be able to monitor their movements and some other activities. I am not too sure if this could be applicable in that all men are virtually polygamous in nature. So it might be difficult for women to manage or control the movements or activities of men. Yes. If you look at biblically, this I'm saying, blockchain, AI, and digital freight platform integrates planning, documentation, and market access. Sesame and cashew. You know, most of us are cashew farmers. And when we have this kind of a thing, it will give us opportunity to be able to monitor the movement of cashew, such that there's going to be a tamper-proof attached to the seal on the cashew nut bag in order to avoid stealing and or adulteration of this. Allows firms and courier to coordinate the order, pickup, payment, and delivery confirmation. While Internet of Things and telematics, you know, there are some products that are temperature managed in nature. So, if Internet of a Thing will be very, very important. I said something about GPS. I'm sure that by the time we finish this lecture, some men will go online to look for GPS devices to monitor the diversion of goods I'm transporting from my farm gate to the Nigerian ports. So I'm not encouraging us to do this in order to exclude many producers from real-time digital logistics system. We have to be conscious of the fact that digital connectivity is no longer optional in modern transport, software, and digital markets. ERP system align procurement, inventory, transport finance, and production. That our Department of Transport Management has worked on a software that sees to the security and secured way of moving items, goods, and with Department of Management to get appropriate software that will help us in the course of moving our goods from our farm gates, from our household. Those days, it takes weeks or months to clear our goods. But today, we have call-up, electronic call-up means. That is when your goods reaches Nigerian ports, that is Tinker Island or Port Harcourt. The essence of doing this is with the aid of technology. So AI, big data support and optimization, demand forecasting and dynamic pricing. Nigerian experience. You will recall that close to 9 in every 10 vulnerability is not mere transportation problem. Any disruption destabilizes supply chain, and it not disrupt it in the course of moving, it disrupt it from source. Goods are being moved via road. The essence of this is that is the most accessible one, cost effective. If you look at other means of transportation like air, it is very, very costly. And Ray is not appreciates the Shawon of Ogbomoso, the Orumagege third, Oba Kabiesi Gandhi Olaoye, who has been advocating that in order to improve the economy of Ogbomoso land is that Ogbomoso tó bá wọ railway ìrìn rẹ̀ kù ẹ̀ẹ̀kan. If you see anybody from Ogbomoso, if you are going to Ogbomoso from Lagos or from Kano and you see rail and you say nearly board another vehicle to Ogbomoso, and I think that's one of the reasons why Kabiyesi opine or is of opinion that rail line should pass through Ogbomoso. We come from one of Ogbomoso said, èmi ò fẹ́ railway ìlú mi o, kí wọ́n má wá máa bá wọn ìyàwó mi sùn. But because the current Shawon of Ogbomoso is a monogamist and a pastor, he doesn't care. To Baba Shawon, and I pray his dream come to manifestation. So there is clear distinction between dependency on road transport, rail, which is 5%, inland waterway, Abalomimbini, Afomi water, Atoduoba, and on in Ogbomoso is strictly road, which is about 88% of the modes of transport. If we now look at this, we will discover that if goods, most especially perishable goods, are coming from the northern on the way at all, about 45% of this will get spoiled before it gets to Lagos, compared to grains, which is very, very negligible. So, without wasting much of our time, we have about 9 constraints that are militating against structural deficit on highway that connect production center to consumption center. The second one is the multiple transaction or informal payments along. If you are going to Ejigbo, where we don't take nonsense, if you are going from Ogbomoso to Ibadan, we have a lot of checkpoints where they will stop you. Do you have agricultural whatever? They will collect money. And we can't blame them. It's because our people from Ibadan, lot of money. So, a lot of Jangali tax and host of others will be collected from the transporters that are moving from Ogbomoso or your en route. One of the problems that are militating against transportation and supply chain is the high level of insecurity on our routes. And this includes kidnapping, armed robbery. So nobody will want to ply that route. Nobody will want to ply that route. But thank God for the federal government and your state government and our people in Ogbomoso that put in place a lot of strategic approaches that provide solutions to this predicament. My supply, which weaken cold chain technology and dependent logistics. You see, moving some items, most especially perishable goods, from certain point to the other point of destination. Low digital literacy among small and medium haulage operators, weak intermodal connectivity, inadequate with trained personality. Looking at all this, irrespective of the idea we have, if the younger generation coming behind are not properly trained on supply chain management, costly look at the academic domicile problem of supply chain in Nigeria. In many Nigerian universities, supply chain management is still treated as a course or option or unit under another discipline. This will weaken the depth identity. Among the constraints are the curricula that are think and generic. Research infrastructure are dedicated. The graduates of this university, especially faculty of management, may live with partial supply chain competence. That is, graduates will enter the market without faculty of management sciences. Treat this as a unit or as an option. This study, and before we go to that, globally, leading university where we borrow a leaf from, run the other undergraduate, masters and doctoral programs with clear discipline identity. They maintain partnership with freight forwarder, shipping line, airlines and technology firms. Professional boards, Chartered Institute of Supply Chain, they recognize this as a competent program, but degree provision still lag behind. The issue is not give an adequate institutional home for supply chain management. This lecture summits that of management science. It should be a stand-alone department. What and discipline-specific depth? It creates budget line for laboratory software and simulation. It strengthens industry model for ER lab, logistics analytics, and host of others. Curriculum supply chain problem into structured teaching, research, and practice. The Ladoke opportunity. Its own strengths in transport operations and management, and creating a contemporary department of logistics and supply chain management. It will strengthen technology-intensive teaching, apply logistic research, whereby graduates will gain practical competence in fleet system, ERP, IoT, blockchain to Nigerian transport and supply chain future. Summary of the finding. Transportation and supply chain functionally serve as a connective tissue linking feasible planning and execution. Nigerians still face digital and intermodal constraints. Supply chain remain under domicile in Nigeria tertiary institution, despite strong are made. That government of Nigeria should rehabilitate our road while accelerating rail and inland waterway investments. Attention should be paid for documentation in order to avoid gridlock in our port complexes. That attention, serious attention should be paid to security constraints on our highway in all geopolitical states. Be given to small haulage firm to adopt GPS in a way that virtually all small and medium haulage operators will install GPS on their fleets so as to know the location, the movement of their fleets. C2, government should formalize industry university partnership through internship, curriculum input, and applied research. Then supply chain management as a stand-alone department that will train the young ones, run it at postgraduate level to better the future of supply chain and supply chain analytics laboratory, and at the same time pursue the professional accreditation in collaboration with relevant industry so as to be able to create employment option in Nigerian transport and supply chain is penultimate. Conclusion. Transportation and supply chain are indeed a SIAMESE twins, joint not by accident. Technology now determines how heavy the joint system becomes, while university and supply chain management. Faculty of Management Science can support this future through teaching, research, and community engagement. The home built by supply chain today will shape the readiness of tomorrow's logistics professional. Finally, I want to sincerely to have this lecture today, most especially even when our undergraduate students are on vacation, we still have this kind of Professor Razak Olatunde Kalilu, the university management, all professors, my political associates from Oyo State PDP, former members of Governing Council that are here present, former member of Osun State Governing Council that are here present, my friends, my wives, and my children. I sincerely appreciate you all. God Almighty.
Thank you very much. Please, we can do better than that, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now for the presentation of So, for the presentation of lecture booklet, please, I want to humbly invite the Dean, Postgraduate School, Professor Babajide Amao, to come and receive. We want to appreciate every one of us for our patience. I want to humbly recognize Mosa. We appreciate you for coming. We also have our Honorable Salimon, he's also a CORD member from Osun State. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you. Then all PDP members in the 5 local governments of Ogbomoso, the PDP members, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you all. Now, for the vote of thanks, I want to invite the faculty officer of the Faculty of Management, Mr. Tunde Akinladi, to come and thank everybody.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to, particularly the Vice Chancellor, Professor Rom Kalilu, who was ably represented by Professor Tunde Ogunkunle. Before we go to this level, we have our deans in attendance. We appreciate you for coming. All our professors from our faculty and other faculties that are here present, we say a very big thank you to you. Our head of departments from the master of ceremony has done much of the thanks. The political class in general from Oyo and Osun State, I say a very big thank you to you for taking out the time. I also want to thank specifically our students and other distinguished guests that are here this afternoon. I say a very big thank you to you all. And I want to sincerely thank our dean, the dean Ofeye Legbo Coin Coin Yodato Moletan, Tiosa Olokojobi. Ọmọ ko maro ìyọ̀dá sí lọ bàbá wọn ní kò ní lọ ìyọ̀dá gorí ọmọ aráàlú Ọ̀yàn ọmọ òǹsà àjèjì ọmọ òsínmọ́ gàgàrí ilé ọkọ ọmọ òsínmọ́ tòun ti kíní abẹ́ ọmọ adé Professor REMI AWOREMI that has done justice to this program and on whose behalf all of us are here present. Professor, on behalf of the faculty, wọ́n ní àdélébárí, wọ́n tún sọ pé àrìnàkórè, wọ́n ní gẹrẹrẹ lọ́gbàrà ń wọ́ lọ sódò gẹrẹrẹ, gbogbo rẹ̀ gbogbo kó máa wá gbogbo yín wá gẹrẹrẹ lọ́gbàrà ń rẹ ẹ̀ délé láyọ̀ o. Thank you very much. We appreciate you all.
Thank you very much. Shall we all rise for our anthems?
Show promises again is kept. Oh, there is sweet rainbow, allure my feelings, make me so timely.